Hey everyone, this is Mistress Mara, and today I want to talk about traveling to another city for professional doming. So recently I went to New York, and this isn't the first time I've been to New York, but it is the first time that I've been there for a client. It was an interesting process. I researched which dungeons are well known there and which ones that do rentals, and who my associates have rented from before and played when they traveled there. So research was really important for me, where I can find out what the scene is like over there, who else is dominating there, who is associated with the people who I know here in LA, and reaching out to either meet people on my free time or on my downtime to try to network and establish connections there, or just to visit different spaces and find out what events are happening so that in the future when I do come back, I don't have to do that research anymore. I know exactly where they are location-wise. I know what to expect from each of the places, what all the rooms look like, if they offer toys and cleaning supplies and stuff like that. If the space has in-house doms, meaning that the rooms that are being offered to rent have the possibility of being used by other doms who are scheduled to be there at the time. So that was kind of an eye-opener because I didn't really have a plan to go there and play as much because I had one specific client who flew me out and who I played with the entire time that I was there. I was only in New York for about 4 days and 3 evenings. 2 of the evenings I played with that person, and another evening they took me out for dinner. So after that dinner, that's when I did my research and actually went to the couple of places to take a look at the dungeon spaces. And what I found was it was actually bigger than a lot of the Los Angeles spaces room-wise. Because it's underground, when you think of New York, you're just like, oh, it's really, really small. You know, it's like apartment studio type of places. But actually, the one that I really liked was underground. It had 7 rooms, and the rooms were heavily themed. All the equipment looked really good. The medical room had an actual table with pads and a shower attached to the room. Another room had an old-fashioned, like, medieval wheel that you could strap someone to, and it actually rotated with the creaks and everything that the wood made, because it was made from real wood. The spaces were actually really cool. It looked more, I guess, dungeon-y than you would expect from a play space. So that was cool. I met some lovely people. I hope to go back and actually play there in the future. Another thing that I realized that I needed to do the next time was really advertise. I was more low-key on this last trip, but I think for future ones, I would probably have to advertise like a month in advance, maybe 2 to 3 weeks. Minimum, I should start doing it 2 weeks in advance. I advertised like a week and a half out. My thought process was like, oh, if I took the time to establish myself at least in a week, people can plan their time with me and they won't forget that I'll be there, you know, from whatever. The problem with that, though, is that people don't have enough time to prepare sometimes, and it's just good to have yours on the radar if you're going, especially across the country, to a different time zone, to a different coast, just things to think about if you're planning on expanding yourself. I also went to Las Vegas. Another thing I noticed was like I posted 2 days before because it was a last minute impromptu fun trip for a client and with a client, but like 2 weeks to a month later, I got people asking me on social media like, hey, are you still in Nevada? And I was like, no, I was only there for 2 days. read my social media. So I'm very clear on when I'm going to be in certain cities, dates and times. My Twitter account is probably the most up to date just because it's quick, free, easy, public. Other sites that I post on aren't as well known unless you've been in the fetish world and BDSM world. But I post there anyway just so that I can get my name across as many places as possible when you search for BDSM or Asian dominatrix or just dominatrix, professional dom, etc. And I guess the final thing is to remember that the types of people that you meet are going to be different. So if you're going to a different state, it's a different culture. Even though I'm still in America, the people in New York are totally different from people in Los Angeles. People in Los Angeles are more laid back. With New York, it's a little harder because it's a peninsula with lots of bridges and tunnels, and if someone is not in Manhattan, where I'm staying at, they have to cross over from Brooklyn or Jersey or wherever they are, and that kind of creates this kind of flaky mentality where it's like, well, I wasn't able to make it to Manhattan, so I guess next time. I mean, that's what deposits are for, but still, it's just the whole wasting my time and trying to establish a connection with me, and I'm trying to expand myself, so I'm being more open than I would be than here in LA, and a lot more patient than I would be to my regulars here in LA. But just things to keep in mind if you are planning on seeing a mistress from outside of state and the types of things that she has to kind of go through, or if you are a mistress and you are planning on expanding yourself and going to other places in the country. Just things to think about and keep in mind. So I hope this was helpful. Like, follow, subscribe on my links below, and I'll catch you next time. Be safe and have fun.